Mike's Daily Podcast.
Well, here we are on a Monday, Sunday, something like that. My name is Mike.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Welcome to Mike's Daily Podcast. How's it going? Are you having a fast day? Is it a fast weekend? Is it going by so fast you want to talk to all your friends, but you can't because they're doing things like staying at home, and you don't want to go over to their house because they might be infected and you're not going to get it, and you don't want to be dead, so you stay home with Fred or Freddie or
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Yeah, that's what's happening here on this weekend is
Mike's
people are getting sick of this.
Daily
It's been going on too long.
Podcast.
And it doesn't get any better than stories.
Yeah.
You hear more and more people dying in Italy. You hear more and more people getting infected in the United States. And it just, why? Well, I'm not going to go into that. I'm not going to talk about that stuff. I'm going to talk about something that I find fascinating. And I hope when this is all over, which it will be all over, not like civilization as we know it, but I don't think it's going to come to that. But it's going to be, when this is done, the disease, we are going to have to think about how, as a society, we got along really well with certain things. For example, traffic. There's like no traffic jams. It's amazing. And in the Bay Area, it's like this huge weight has been lifted. And it means, too, that there was a time not too long ago where it was like this. Well, actually, when I first moved to the Bay Area, the traffic wasn't quite so bad because so many people were out of work because of the economic downturn. Now we got another economic downturn, but it's more because of the coronavirus and the stay-at-home edict. And so what's interesting is a friend of mine who's been in the...
And here's today's podcast picture.
Podcastro Valley for a long time, which is the picture's not a Podcastro Valley. But he has lived in the Bay Area and in Podcastro Valley for a long time. And he and his wife used to, for dessert, drive down to San Jose. And they said the drive took them 20 minutes. The drive never takes you 20 minutes to get to San Jose now. Well, I should say before the coronavirus hit, it was impossible to get down to San Jose. You just had to give yourself an hour or more. And there's always this thing where you have only a few. That's right. Basil and I have experienced it together. How long? He said there's like 2 times a day where there's like a quick little, the overnight, basically, you can get through certain areas, but and then maybe in the mid afternoon, like just after late morning. Pre-noon, not after, somewhere in that area. I'm befuddled all the time. So, this is not, but now, it's like wonderful again. I haven't had any real traffic that I've hit. If you live in the Bay Area, perhaps have other stories. But it's just fantastic. And it makes me wonder, and it made my friend wonder, who remembered these days long ago where you could drive, or not so long ago, where you could drive pretty much anywhere without the traffic, that there's too many of us with cars. There's too many of us that haven't figured out how to carpool or take public transportation. I should note that my friend who said this never takes public transportation. I would never want, I think he's been on BART once. That sounds ridiculous to me, but it's true. And he remembers the days. And I just wonder, do we really need to all be out on the roads? Do we really need to all be? I mean, we can find other ways. The Bay Area's got a myriad of other ways, and yet a lot of those other ways suck. BART, for example. So what they've decided to do, the wonderful people at BART, is because ridership is down, we'll cancel. We'll just stop having trains run after 9 o'clock at night. We'll still start early, which I think they dialed that back a bit. Used to be even earlier, like at 4 something, but now it's 6 or is it 5? At any rate, they definitely have cut off anything. And in some ways I see it because between 9 and midnight you always have freaks on BART anyway, but from 9 to midnight that quotient just dramatically escalated. But this is also terrible because for us people that used to like to go to San Francisco and go see the concerts, we can't do this anymore. We have to drive into the city to see the concerts and have our cars broken into because every single car in San Francisco gets broken into. Period. You might have nothing in your car. It's going to get broken into. You are going to be missing glass by the time you get back to your car. And we used to be able to forego all that because we would hop on BART and we could leave. Although that did kind of suck because the last time I went to see a concert was just about a month or so ago. I saw a tribute band to The Cure and to Stone Roses and to the Smiths. And the Smiths cover band got on stage and we only saw 2 songs and we had to leave because we were going to miss the BART. We didn't want to get on the last BART out because that is full of wow. It's just uncanny what you see on BART, on that last BART train. There's actually a similar story that played out on How I Met Your Mother when they talk about the last train on the subway in New York City and the stuff that goes on in the last train. But that's similar. The Bay Area Rapid Transit trains at the end of the evening are pretty sketchy. So, to sum up, BART has decided, no, nothing after 9. So you're stuck wherever you are, unless you're going to get the wonderful Uber or Lyft or whatever, or a taxi. And that's all going to be expensive. So it's just, that's going to put more cars on the roads. Thank you, Bay Area Rapid Transit. I'm conflicted about the whole thing. But then I do have a car, thankfully, because the job that I do on the weekend, a little side project, requires me to be at this particular place at 8 in the morning, and there is a BART station near it, but BART doesn't run till after 8 in the morning now on the weekends. That's the other stupid thing. They've decided, it used to be Saturday, it started at 6, but now, no. As we go outside a cafe anyway, we're bringing you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley. Ton today. Actually did start at 7. At any rate, I was able to get to work by 8 because BART used to run earlier. And then they took that away on Sundays. So now Sundays had been starting at 8 for about a year. And then just recently, both Saturday and Sunday start after 8 and wrap up by 9 in the evening. So I'm getting gas this morning. And people at gas stations, I don't get it, even though there's less cars on the road. People still cannot do the correct parking at a gas station. They cannot figure out, okay, I'm going to put my car here and make it easy so that other people can drive in and get gas. They decide to, because when you go into an aisle, a service aisle, where the gas pump is, the island, the pump island, as you're driving up to it, depending on what side your tank is on, although a lot of gas stations now have the ones that you can pull around and over your car and do it sort of this, you stretch the pump out over, which creates a strain on the pump that's putting gas into your car. And I have had on one occasion, maybe even 2, where the pump device, the spigot, flew out and gas shot all over the parking lot gravel there. And so that's not a good thing. So I try to park as close as I can to the gas dispenser. And this morning, there's only 2 cars. There's one island. And you would think that the cars would pull forward so that someone could get behind them and then, pump the gas. No, they just stopped like the first pull forward. That's all I'm saying. At gas stations and islands, pull forward. I don't know why people don't pull forward. It's crazy. Anywho, and there's a guy standing there holding one of those mobile gas carrier tank cans. He's out of gas, but he's just standing there staring at people. What? Do you want us to help you? What's going on? Why are you just looking at us? That was weird. Oh, that all happened on Sunday today. But I have a feeling with all of this weird, do you have this weird feeling with the whole coronavirus and people staying at home that nature's reclaiming itself? I mentioned this a couple podcasts ago, but for example, like outside a cafe anyway, here's nature, the birds chirping and all that. Somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on earth, Podcastro Valleyton. Are the birds taking over? Are the coyotes? I hear the coyotes are making their way back into San Francisco, and joining the bears that are already in San Francisco and have taken over San Francisco. Are there as many bears? I'm talking, of course, the hairy men that are gay, that like the leather, that look. Is that not a thing anymore? That was in the 90s, and it was funny. And what was his name? Oh, that comedian hung out with them on that show, Insomniac. Dave Attell. So back to nature and everything. Isn't it fascinating? Just before the sun rises, there's a type of bird, and I'm not a huge bird fan. Even though I love birds, but I don't know all the names. A birdist. Is that it? Not being a birdist, I cannot tell you the bird that's chirping right now, or the bird that starts to tweet. It's the first bird you hear in the morning, and it starts tweeting, it starts chirping right before the sun comes up. This bird chirps, and then it must have some sensitivity to light that it sees that little bit of sun, and when you hear that bird chirp, your alarm's going to go off in about 10 minutes. And then there's that one, and then there's that one that goes, coo, coo, coo. It does 3. Coo, coo, coo. 3 coos. I don't know what that one is. Is that a dove? Is that a pigeon? Somebody does that. That will be the second bird that you hear. I'm finding it fascinating. And then I'm like, oh gosh, the sun's going to be up in any minute. And I can't get any more sleep. Dang it. That's annoying. But yes, beyond all that, the wonders of our world and our society are unbelievable. And I think I have trying to stretch this because I was looking for, what was this? Oh, this is what, yes, I was talking to my lovely lady friend. I was looking for a note I wrote in my phone. Another thing that's going to happen after COVID-19 is people are going to look around and they're going to say, you know what? I want a job that is in an industry that is a business that is considered essential. Because I don't want to go through this again. I got laid off because of COVID-19. And if this happens again, and we live in a world where who knows what will happen next, I want to be in an essential business. Now, if you had told me years ago, before this happened, that radio was considered an essential business, I would have laughed. But it is, because we follow guidelines set by the government. Federal Communications Commission says you need to be on and to give the information to the people. You are the first line of getting that information out. So you need to still exist. You are essential. I would have laughed at you if you said that, but I guess it's true. And I get a special form I can put in my car, and I can say I'm going to my essential business if I am on the road. I never would have thought that was true, but in the future, we're all going to be looking at jobs that are linked somehow to essential businesses in the medical industry. The restaurant industry can't. Now, here's the thing. I'm eating out more now because of the coronavirus, and I'm afraid of my restaurants going under. And the restaurants that are providing takeout, of course, you can't actually sit in a restaurant. The police will come in and throw you out, basically. That's what somebody told me about what happened in Oakland. There was a restaurant, and people were sitting in there, and the cop came in and said, out. Get out. You're violating the rule. I don't know if anybody got cited, but... So, anyway, in the future, Cafe Anyway, I'm sure we'll be looking at that. But Trader Joe's has a line outside of it now. I don't get that. I understand Trader Joe's has some good stuff, and I've gone in there when it's convenient, and I can walk in and just grab something. I'll grab a bag of the chopped cabbage thing, the cruciferous crunch. That's so good. Or some of their amazing sausages made out of chicken, or their breads, or the Kringle, or the sauces and the chips and the pita chips and the coffee and everything else. But a line, of course, everyone's 6 feet apart, so the line is longer than it would be usually. But still, a line for Trader Joe's, I don't get it. I have driven an hour and a half to get to a Trader Joe's when I lived in Alabama. And the closest one was in Nashville. That was an hour and a half drive, and we brought a cooler, put a bunch of stuff in. It was like, ooh. But then at the end of the day, I'm like, was that really worth it? We burned all that gas just to get stuff that's probably, a lot of that is in the store. Good. Oh, and one other interesting thing about all of this coronavirus and COVID-19 is that we are investing more in tops. Just the top, ma'am. Just the top. From the waist up. That's all we care about, because we're doing all these video chats. I don't know if you're doing Zoom. Just about everybody I know is doing Zoom. Not just for business, but personal stuff. Or Skype. Or here's some other ones people haven't thought of. Google Hangouts. That works great. Who else? FaceTime. There's just about all the social media have some kind of thing you can set up if you have a camera in your computer, as most laptops do, or in your phone. A lot of apps out there that provide you the capability of chatting with someone back and forth. And people are like, well, I want to show what I'm wearing. They're going to see my shirt. So they make sure the shirt is nice, the top is nice, but down below, this is what newscasters have been doing for years. Down below, of course, it's all shorts or whatever, or if there are any pants down there. That's part of society now. Thank you. I wanted to get through all of that. Look who's out here of Cafe Anyway, located somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on earth. Hello, Michael Matthew. It's Madame Rootabega, and I always wear pants. Yes, but you don't always wear tops. That's always a little unnerving. Surprising. Sorry. Madame Rootabega? I'm not talking to you. Oh, I was just... Michael Matthew, there was just that one time. It was Mardi Gras. Oh, do you like Mardi Gras? Yes. Would you go back to Mardi Gras someday after COVID-19? Yes. Would you go there now? No. Yes. You probably wouldn't. Although a lot of people apparently are gathering for churches in Louisiana, and they're like, no, don't do that. No gathering. They've broken up huge funerals with 400 people. They said, no, you can't have that many people gathering. And what else happened? Iran isn't doing nearly the restrictions they're supposed to do for the coronavirus, but they said they can't because economically they can't, because we've got our sanctions on them. And then Germany is 9 with helping out the European Union, the countries that are doing really badly with the coronavirus, Italy and Spain. They're 9 with helping them out. So that's going to be interesting how that plays out. And also, there was some... Oh, Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson are back in California, in Los Angeles. So run! No, run, Forrest, run. They are back after, being quarantined in Australia because they had COVID-19, but they got back healthy. They got through it. And they said they are self-quarantined now. And they said Hanks. Instead of thanks, they said Hanks. Ha ha, look who else is here.
Hello there, Mike. This is Valentino, the parking attendant.
And this is Bison Bentley. Do it!
Mike, we was thinking that you could perhaps do a podcast every day and call it Mike's Daily Podcast Day.
Yeah, Mike's Daily Podcast. Do it! That's a great idea. I could do it from home, for example. And that would be something that I'm already doing, but thank you for that suggestion. Yes, the podcast picture today, as I am searching, you probably have surmised, I'm searching for this podcast picture. It's not appearing to me quickly. I need to get, do you know why? I can tell you why. I'm not getting outside. It used to be I'd have a podcast picture that was easy to find every day because I'd be outside and I'd see cool things. I'd be all around the Bay Area. And now I'm having to go back in time to days past, mostly to the Mount Shasta days, because that was a fun time. And actually, somebody told me on Instagram, they saw that podcast picture with my lovely lady friend in front of Ferry Falls, and they were like, dude, I was there. And I was thinking, first off, who the heck are you? And second, good gosh, that is not an easy place to find. Good for you. Wow. Ferry Falls. It's not even on a map. I don't know how my lovely lady friend found it. But she did, and we went, and it was cool, and people were not anywhere near us, so we didn't have to worry about the rule about, running for your life if somebody comes near you and giving them infinite space. Oh, wait, it's just 6 feet? It's not infinite space? I think we might go with a podcast picture of a very, very small snowman. Okay, we'll do that. The very, very small snowman known as Twiggy. You can see the picture of Twiggy at MikesDailyPodcast.com. Okay, next show it'll be the wonderful Chely Shoehart, Floyd the Floorman, and John Deere the engineer. Thank you for listening to FF episode 2007. I am hoping to get lovely lady friend on maybe the next podcast. We will see. So stick around for that. Check back for that. Tell me what you think about any of the topics we covered today. You can call me at 336MM Daily. That's 3 + 3 = 6. MM as in Mike Matthews. Daily as in what this podcast has been now for quite a while. Well over a week. We have not been interrupted, thankfully. We're on our way to 2 weeks, so let's hope this keeps going. We've gotten a good run of luck. So hopefully this will continue on. And if you would like to email me, well, Ariel has information about that.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MikesDailyPodcast.com. Email Mike now at MikesDailyPodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!